a hunger for purpose, for creativity, for community.
I realize I've been doing that for half of my life because I'm 40.
You come every day.
African reggae fever, catch it, there will be no cure.
This is one of my favorite people in the world. This is Rocco Bellick, and I'm Kathy Eldon, Creative Visions Foundation. And this is Caught in the Act for the Huffington Post. And today I am caught in the act with you, Rocco. You have an amazing story to tell about something that is essential to every human being on Earth. So what are you up to? What's happening this weekend, first of all?
Well, I spent the last 6 years of my life making a film about happiness. And on Saturday, February 11th, we're having what we call World Happy Day, which is 600 screenings of the film in 60 countries on all 7 continents. So we even have a screening in Antarctica. And what the movie is about, it's about happiness. It was a search for the real causes and sources of happiness. One of the things I discovered is how important happiness is. So I thought happiness is sort of a byproduct of having the life that you want and finding the job or the relationship that you want. I didn't realize that happy people are healthier, they're less likely to commit crimes or go to war, they're more likely to help a stranger in need, they're more creative, they get better jobs, they make more money. So happiness is really good for us as individuals, and it's good for the world, because we impact our communities in a better way if we're happy.
Okay, that's terrific, but how do we get happy? I mean, I want another Mercedes, I want more money,
right.
more
Well,
stuff.
one of the things I learned that really sort of blew me away is how much of our happiness is within our control. And one of the ways that we control our happiness is our values. So studies have shown that if you value money and power and fame and good looks, and a lot of the things that we're sort of taught to strive for, if those are your priorities, you're less likely to be happy than if you value cooperation, compassion, wanting to make the world a better place, and feeling part of something bigger than yourself. If you value those things, you're more likely to be happy. And the beauty of that is that we maybe cannot decide if we're going to be beautiful or talented or a millionaire, but we can decide what we care about. And it's, in a way, it's almost as simple as that.
I have to say that, Rocco, you've been in my life since you were about 18 years old.
Right.
When you went on a safari with my son, Dan Eldon, to bring happiness to a bunch of refugees in Malawi.
My experience with Dan in Africa is exactly my starting point for this movie. Because what happened is Tom called me and said he read an article in the New York Times about happiness. And this article essentially said that America is one of the richest countries, but nowhere near the happiest. We're down at number 23. And Tom at the time had made a lot of money, and he was living in a mansion. And he said every day that he woke up, he noticed that the person tending his garden and the person cleaning his house were happier than the millionaire movie stars and producers he worked with. So he said we should make a movie exploring happiness. He said, I know it doesn't work, I want to know what does. And immediately I thought of my experience with Dan in Africa, because what I was ready for that trip. We were going to deliver medicine and relief supplies to refugees of the Mozambican Civil War. And before we left, I was preparing myself emotionally to deal with seeing so many people who had struggled and suffered. People had been mutilated and tortured, and I was really ready. I was trying to be ready for that. And instead what I saw when we got there was the exact opposite. I saw people who were totally alive. They were vibrant, they were dancing, they were singing, they were curious, they were interested. They just had this sort of vibrancy that I saw missing in some of my friends back home who kind of had everything. So when Tom suggested we make this film about happiness, I said, oh great, finally I'll have an excuse to spend the time I need to answer that question for myself. How is it possible that some people who seem to have so little actually are beaming with joy, whereas some of us who seem to have so much are actually struggling and sometimes miserable? Yes.
So Rocco Bellick is a creative activist. He's using his creative spirit, the spark of creativity within him, to help the world around him. Creative Visions Foundation celebrates creative activists like Rocco who use media and the arts for good. So I love being caught in the act with creative activists, and particularly being caught in the act with you. I'm deeply grateful, and to learn more about us, thank you. Check out creativevisions.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.